Best of r/malicious compliance episode 89. Subscribe for edit videos daily. So back in November I went to Costco to get some Christmas shopping done. My dad has never been to a Costco before and his view of Costco is that you rent a box truck, back it up to the dock, and they use a forklift to put skids of bulk groceries in the truck. So when I said to my dad, hey, I'm going to run to Costco to get some Christmas shopping done, he responds with, great, your mother and I are getting a lifetime supply of toilet paper then? I just laughed and walked out the door. So while I'm in the store I walk by the toilet paper and I'm just staring at it, thinking, you know what, yeah, you are getting a shitload of toilet paper. I proceeded to buy 430 packs of toilet paper and took them to my girlfriend's house to be individually wrapped over the course of the next month. He did not find it as funny as I did come Christmas morning. We now have like 40 some rolls left and haven't had to worry about running out. TLDR, my dad made a sarcastic comment about buying toilet paper as a Christmas present. I bought so much we have yet to run out. Thank you. Next. Hello friends, this is a happy little story from my time as a warehouse assistant. Some background first. This happened while working for a small business. The boss in question is actually a great dude, but like all bosses, he is under a ton of stress and has his moments. This particular piece of compliance revolves around a nail gun in use in the warehouse. Don't worry, no idiots were harmed in the writing of this story. So every afternoon we have pretty large shipments getting sent out. Everything sold for the day would be popped onto pallets and shipped off to customers. Now pallets are surprisingly expensive and if not sized properly cost a fortune extra in freight. So we eventually started making our own in order to fit the size of the products being shipped using the previously mentioned nail gun to put them together. All was going well until the delivery guy told us that, and I quote, those F-King pallets of yours are shitty and keep falling apart. Stop using the F-King nail gun and put them together properly. We looked into it and he was 100% right. See, the nails from the nail gun were super small, thin and couldn't grip for shitty. The warehouse manager could actually pull the pallets with his hands. So yeah, not good. 'Twas reported to the admin folks upstairs and the show went on. From that point on we started using normal nails instead. Yeah, it took longer but we were still saving money and the deliver folks were happy as clams. Now for the turn. One Friday, late in the afternoon, the boss comes down and lets us know the sales team has just landed a biggin. Boss, we need some pallets lads. I want this to ship this afternoon. Grab the nail gun and throw some together ASAP. Me, no problem, I'll get on it now. Boss goes back upstairs and I start belting pallets together using normal nails. 5 minutes later boss comes back down and he is fuming. Boss, OC, I can see you on the cameras. What the hell are you doing? Me, hammering the pallets up. Boss, as you said. Boss, I said to use the damn nail gun. Me, well I would, but when we used it last Boss, no buts. We bought that nail gun. Now you better bloody use it. In fact I'll show you how. Boss man takes the nail gun and slaps together a pallet in 20 seconds flat. Normally takes about 3-4 minutes by hammer. Boss, there, see. Now do it the right way or go home. Me, yes boss. And so begins our compliance. I pick up the nail gun and smash out 5 fragile pallets in the space of about 3 minutes. Exactly the same way the boss man did, which I'm okay with. It's a ton easier. All while my co-workers giggled with glee. Come shipping time I realized just why they were all giggling. All the other forklift users are out for the rest of the afternoon, with local deliveries, sickness and general excuses. The only person with a fork license whom was going to have to load the truck was, you guessed it, boss man. So boss man picks up the first pallet, and is about to load it onto the truck when the pallet is hit by a stray breeze and proceeds to fall apart on the forks. Delivery guy, the FK, did I tell you about those pallets? Are you idiots using that nail gun again? Boss stammers saying we needed them sent this afternoon and the nail gun should have done the job. Delivery guy, I don't bloody care. I cannot take any of the pallets you've built with that nail gun. If they fall apart in our possession and damage something or someone, it's a bloody nightmare. Do em again and I'll pick em up tomorrow. And with that parting gift, in his own act of compliance, the delivery driver keeps to his word, closes the truck and drives off without our shipment. The boss sits in silence, Contemplating the thousands of dollars in product which has now experienced a nice big shipping delay. Did I mention this was Friday? Boss, OC, me, yeah boss, retire the nail gun. And sorry about earlier. Me, don't worry about it. Want a hand getting all these back inside? Boss, yep, and if you've got some time before closing I would appreciate some fresh pallets as well. Me, on it. I'll have them knocked up in a bit. And the nail gun was never heard from again. Don't you all enjoy a happy ending? TLDR, why are you here if you ain't reading the stories? Edit, good lordy this got a gold. Thank you kind stranger and thank you all for your updates. To all of you posting, yes the correct way to go is to just buy a new nail gun. Please note however my position as warehouse assistant, I had no power or money, and I can assure you we have requested a better nail gun. It is however not our responsibility to go buy it. That falls to the people who push the paper. Thank you. Next. Not English native and writing on a mobile device. Sorry for errors. BTW this story is extremely mild. So in my group of friends we like to prank each other. Nothing too extremely usually just mild stuff. Setting. One night many moons ago, we went to a disco. The glasses on said disco were black. So if you looked inside one, you couldn't understand what was inside of it. I am drinking my glass of vodka, no ice, no juice, just plain vodka, when one of my friends comes near me completely sweated from dancing for a long time. He looks like someone who could really use a drink to hydrate himself. He said to me, "Danger sir, please tell me that is a glass of water." Cue my malicious compliance and I said, "This is a glass of water." He grabs the glass and chugs half of the glass in one go. Never have I seen a face of regret appear so fast on someone. Luckily another friend of ours had water for him. Thank you. Next. Oh goodness, this happened maybe a couple of months ago and I've just been too lazy to write it. Preface. I am not self-harming myself. I am just a very clumsy person with a high pain tolerance who works with sharp objects. I also wear these bandages to keep me from scratching at them because I have no self-control. The story. I injure myself a lot. Falling down stairs, bumping into a wall, getting a face full of the works. I also have a high pain tolerance, so most of my scrapes are just superficial and just look kinda gross. So I cover them with something. Band-aids, medical tape, a tissue and tape. This is where our cumulative issues begin. My nervous habit is to pick at my nails, to the point that they will bleed. To counteract this, I put pieces of medical tape around my nails and fingers. So I almost constantly have tape around my fingers. I do Science Olympiad. My event requires me to cut pieces of wood with a saw or box cutter. And not being the master of fine motor skills, I do eventually slip up so slap another band-aid on that. Finally I do theater. The scenes we do are kinda rough. I'm in multiple fight scenes, and we do it on shitty office carpet so many carpet burns on elbows and knees. Okay if you're still with me or S&P's any insults is conveniently changed to a few months ago we switched schedules and I had to go to my Bible class. Now this teacher's is in no way the best, but she's tolerable, so we have Lil Olmi walking into class with at least 8-12 band-aids on her person, still on nerve from a presentation before and getting stares from the teacher. My classmates were chill at this point. While we are doing the worksheet, she comes over and says may we talk after class and my obedient little self says sure. We get to after class and she tells me that my band-aids are disturbing. I told her that I could change to skin tone ones. These were bright colors. She says no, this dense carrot tells me they're unsightly and I shouldn't hurt myself. I sigh and agree to stop wearing the band-aids, just to please this stale turnip. Next day rolls around. Showing up to school with some scabby fingers, strawberry knees and some scratches on my arm. Personally I'm fine with blood and it but even this was kinda unsightly. Walking into class extra early just to see the horrified look on the sour beet's face is lovely. My knees stared to bleed a little from the constant movement. She pulls me aside again after class and said I could continue using my band-aids. Not sure if this belongs here but at least 80% sure. Thank you. Next. I'm a 17M bar back from the UK. I work at a pub that is partially owned by my aunt and uncle. They are the reason I got my job so easily. I love my job, the atmosphere, the live bands, the free Coke and lemonade on tap. I have 2 sets of managers. There's my uncle and Mike, not his real name, who I love working for, and then Karen and Kevin, who well, not so much. Karen is an ex-nurse who thinks she is queen bee. She's as patronizing as they come. There is making sure business runs smoothly and telling workers what to do. And then Karen. Kevin does nothing, other than sit literally in the middle of the bar on a stool drinking a half-off lager. If he does do anything, it's that he changes barrels, of which then leaves the job of bringing them up from the cellar, to me. I wish I was making that up about the sitting in the middle of the bar. We have to squeeze around him to maneuver around the bar. I have several stories I could tell about these two. So, I've been working at the pub for about 7 months now and I'm surprised it's taken me this long to maliciously comply. So, I have a list of specific orders that Karen and Kevin have given me in the past weeks. Uniform. The dress code is black, with some hints of color. I wear black boots, switch between a turtleneck and a shirt and tie, and always wear my pocket watch. It's useful for timing unattended glasses on the go. Now, for the last 6 months, I've worn black jeans. However, Karen has only just told me that it isn't acceptable and has told me to wear black slacks instead, after 6 months. So, the shit after, I turn up in my black boots, black slacks, white shirt, and rainbow braces and bow tie I had left over from Pride. She looked at me and knew instantly what I had done. Stock rotation. Now as a bar back it's my job to fetch stock, snacks and bottles, from the cellar and restock them in the fridges and on shelves, making sure to put the new to the back and the old to the front. In my 6 months, I've worked on a system of doing it quickly and efficiently while still putting the new to the back and the old to the front. But this isn't good enough for Karen. She told me that I need to take out every single bottle and put the new bottles in first. Already this more than doubles the stocking time in which I could be collecting glasses in. So to the dismay of Karen and my co-workers, sorry guys, I carefully take out every single bottle from the fridges and put in the new bottles to the back and put the old bottles back in, as slow as possible. My defense, I don't want to accidentally smash a bottle. I've quite heavy-handed, clean glasses. This is a lot like the stock. Hot glasses from the washer to the back of the shelves, cold ones to the front. This takes time to rotate the glasses, especially because if one falls off the shelf, it most likely will smash. This is also annoying for the bartenders who need to quickly grab a glass. This is all the incidents I can think of right now, but I'll be sure to update if I remember some more, or if I happen to create some more. Thank you. Next. This is gonna be a short one because I'm horrible at writing long things. Okay, this got longer than I expected. So, I'm a software developer at a large, 1,500-ish employees, company. My official position is a software developer, but since I've got quite a bit of experience and a somewhat non-standard skill set for this position, I've worked as a Linux admin and a DevOps engineer for around 2 years. I often get asked to do other things than just write code. I absolutely don't have a problem with that and even quite enjoy doing other things from time to break the monotony. Or rather I did until one of the high-up managers noticed my particular skill set and started asking me to help out on other projects I was short on people. At first I didn't really mind, but eventually it evolved into a situation where I would be reassigned to a different project every single week. A project change, for me, would mean downloading all their code, setting up the whole build and development environment, getting familiar with said project and finally being able to do some work. This would usually take at least a day. I've tried talking to many different managers to try and do something about this because it was starting to affect my performance reviews to no avail. Some of them would tell me they will look into it, others wouldn't even bother to reply to my emails, and that's where I got really fed up. Now, our project teams usually sit together. We have multiple large, open space offices and a few smaller ones with just a few people. I'm one of the lucky ones who gets to sit in one of the small ones, and I usually wouldn't physically move for these team changes because then I would be moving every single week. On a Monday morning, as usual, I got an email basically saying this: "You're needed on project Z immediately. Go over there to help as soon as you can." The immediately and go over there parts are where they made a fatal mistake. I've always been one not to take shit from anyone, and malicious compliance is my default, so I immediately took the hint and did exactly what I've been asked to do. I stopped working on my current project immediately. This will be very relevant later, and even though I usually wouldn't have done this, I've decided to physically move to the team I've been reassigned to. So for the rest of the day, I've made a big spectacle of trying to move my entire workspace closer to that new project team, making sure to only carry one thing at a time as not to injure myself, to an office on a different floor and other side of the building. The next morning I just started working on the new project like nothing happened. Well, fast forward 3 weeks. The project I've been taken off has had huge delays and missed multiple client deadlines because of that thing I haven't been allowed to finish. In this industry, missing a client deadline means huge fines from both the client and sometimes also relevant government regulators. Managers started to reply to my emails and try to be much more careful with how they word their requests. I haven't been asked to switch projects for 3 weeks now. I'm not worried about getting fired. I've been looking for something new for quite a while now. TL. Doctor. Got asked to switch teams immediately. Complied with the request. Caused huge delays and fines from clients. Before you start bashing me in the comments, I tried going the peaceful route and it didn't work. Thank you. Next. Edit. This story contains blood. This isn't my personal story. It's actually about my friend. But I did receive both the disgust and pleasure of how this went down. So, for some context, my friend, who for the sake of the story will be named David, has some sort of issues with his nose. If he sneezes too much, he will sometimes get a nosebleed. Now, most of his teachers are completely understanding of this. He doesn't overly use tissues and will usually get sent to the nurse to take care of it. One day, we're in 8th period. Now, our 8th period teacher, let's call her Mrs. Thomas, not her real name for personal discretion. She really does not like David. David's been sneezing a lot. This teacher has this thing in her classroom, I forget what it's called, that emits aromas. So, AG emits an aroma that has David sneezing a lot. We're nearing the end of our lecture and David gives me this look. The look of oh shit. He stands up and dashes to these tissues. As he is about to get one, Mrs. Thomas takes the tissues and tells him to sit back down and not interrupt her lesson. By then, the whole class was sort of watching David. David had a shit-eating grin on his face. He just stared intently at the screen. About 30 seconds pass. The floodgates have opened. Blood starts rolling out of his nose. The girl beside him screams. David calmly looks at the teacher, grin still on his face, and asks for a tissue. By then, blood is dripping onto the desk and the girl beside him is absolutely freaking out. The teacher ushers him to the nurse. The next day, she gave David his own tissue box for her class. TLDR. My friend bleeds on his desk because the teacher refuses to give him a tissue.